So you've been keeping your ear to the ground, and lately it sounds like there's a lot of chatter about TeleSwap and something called Rune tokens popping up on Bitcoin.
That's right. Yeah, things are definitely moving fast in that space.
You sent over some really interesting articles, and, well, we figured it's time for a deep dive to unpack all of this.
Good plan. There's a lot to cover.
Our mission, basically, is to figure out what these Rune tokens and TeleSwap actually are, why everyone's talking about them, and, what it means for crypto overall. Especially this whole idea, which seems kind of huge, of taking Bitcoin-based tokens and actually moving them elsewhere, like using Bitcoin meme coins and DeFi. Sounds wild.
It's pretty significant, yeah. It's like expanding what Bitcoin itself can, do, or what assets on Bitcoin can do, bridging them across chains.
Huh.
It opens up a whole new playbook, really.
Okay. Let's start with the basics then. Rune tokens. What's the deal? In simple terms.
Right. So think of runes as a new standard, a new recipe, let's say, for creating fungible tokens, interchangeable tokens like coins, directly on the Bitcoin blockchain itself.
Directly on Bitcoin, not like a layer on top or something.
Well, it uses Bitcoin's core structure. They came onto the scene around the 2024 halving, and the person behind them is Casey Rodarmer, same guy who did ordinals, which people might remember.
Oh, okay. Ordinals, yeah.
So the clever bit is how they're made. They get etched, as they call it, right onto Bitcoin using its existing system, the UTXO model, unspent transaction outputs, and a specific data space called op-return.
So it's tapping into Bitcoin's plumbing, basically, not adding a whole new wing to the house.
Exactly. And that's important because it's generally seen as more efficient than, say, the BRC-20 standard that came before it.
Right. I remember BRC-20s caused a bit of a stir about clogging up the network, blockchain bloat.
Yeah, there was definitely discussion around that. Runes are designed to be, let's say, lighter on resources. It's a more streamlined way to issue tokens. Could be meme coins, sure, but maybe game items, stable coins, who knows, right there on Bitcoin's base layer.
Got it. Streamlined tokens on Bitcoin. Okay, so give me an example. What's a Rune token that's actually out there making noise?
The big one, the standout you'll see in the sources, is DOG, spelled D-O-G, ticker usually DOG. It's basically the first major meme coin launched using this runes protocol on Bitcoin.
DOG. Okay, like Doge, but on Bitcoin runes.
Sort of, yeah. Its launch was quite something. April 24th, 2024, they did this massive airdrop, 100 billion tokens to over 75,000 wallets, people who were early ordinal supporters, that kind of thing.
100 billion. Wow. That's a lot. That must have got people talking.
Oh, it did. Big time. That wide distribution definitely helped build buzz. But it wasn't just the airdrop size.
No. What else?
There was this one transaction. Someone paid, get this, $200,000 in Bitcoin transaction fees just to get their DOG token transaction included in the exact block where the halving happened.
$200,000 just in fees.
Yeah.
For a meme coin transaction.
Yep. Crazy, right? But it really shows the hype, the energy around these new things. Maybe they wanted to make history, maybe just pure speculation, but yeah, eye-watering fee.
Absolutely wild. Shows the fervor. But, okay, so you have these Rune tokens, like DOG, living on Bitcoin. But initially they were kind of trapped there, right? Couldn't easily move them off-chain.
That's the crux of it. They were native to Bitcoin, which is great for security, but limited their use elsewhere. And that's exactly where TeleSwap comes into the story.
The bridge.
Exactly. The sources describe TeleSwap as a platform built specifically to bridge that gap. It lets you move Bitcoin itself, BRC-20s, and now, the key part, these Rune tokens between Bitcoin and other blockchains.
And we're talking major chains here, like the big DeFi players?
Yeah. Yes. We're talking about taking DOG, for instance, from Bitcoin and making it usable on Ethereum, Base, Polygon, Arbitrum, Optimism, places where a lot of the DeFi action happens.
Okay, that is significant. So the example you mentioned from the article, selling DOG for USDT, like a stablecoin, but on Polygon.
Precisely. Something you just couldn't do directly on Bitcoin Layer 1 before. TeleSwap basically plugs the Rune ecosystem into the wider world of DeFi that's mostly been built on these other EVM-compatible chains.
Right, EVM, virtual machine compatible. Okay, so TeleSwap is the connector. How does it actually work, though? How do you take a Bitcoin thing and make it an Ethereum thing, technically speaking?
It uses a process called wrapping. It's pretty common in cross-chain stuff. When you bridge a Rune token using TeleSwap, say DOG, from Bitcoin to Polygon, the original DOG token on Bitcoin gets locked up securely. Then, TeleSwap facilitates the creation or minting of an equivalent wrapped token on Polygon. So native DOG becomes ERC20 DOG.
ERC20, the standard token type on Ethereum and chains like Polygon.
Exactly. And the crucial part is that wrapped dog on Polygon is always fully backed, one-to-one, by the original dog locked on Bitcoin. It's like a claim check.
A collateralized claim check. Makes sense. But who makes sure the locking and wrapping happens correctly? How do you trust that process?
Good question. That's where TeleSwap's Rune Jury comes in. It's not a single company or person. It's a decentralized network of validators.
Validators, like our proof-of-stake networks.
Similar concept. These validators stake their own crypto as collateral, like putting down a security deposit. Their job is to watch the Bitcoin network, confirm that a Rune deposit, like your dog tokens, has actually happened and is valid.
Okay.
Once enough validators in the jury agree, yep, this deposit is confirmed, they collectively authorize the creation of the wrapped tokens on the destination chain, like Polygon.
A jury. Interesting name. So it avoids having one single point of failure or trust.
Precisely. It's decentralized verification, and there's a strong incentive for them, to be honest. If a validator on the jury messes up or tries to cheat, say, confirms a fake deposit, they get slashed. Slashed. Sounds painful. It means they lose some or all of their staked crypto. A big financial penalty. So they're heavily incentivized to accurately confirm transactions and keep the bridge secure.
Okay, so economic security. And can users get their original runes back?
Yes, absolutely. The sources mention you can always bridge back. Redeem your wrapped token on Polygon, and the system unlocks your original native rune token back on the Bitcoin network. You're always in control.
That sounds pretty robust.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift to the user side. I've got my dog tokens on Bitcoin. I want to try some DeFi on Polygon. Is TeleSwap like super complicated to use? Do I need to be a coder?
They seem to have really focused on making it user-friendly. The articles emphasize this one-click interface. The idea is you connect your Bitcoin wallet, connect your EVM wallet, like MetaMask for Polygon, and do the swap in basically one go.
One click? Really? From Bitcoin to Polygon?
Well, one click from the user's perspective to initiate the process. Obviously, the blockchain stuff happens underneath. Confirmations take a little time, but the interaction is designed to be simple.
Okay, that's appealing. What about fees? Cross-chain stuff can get expensive with gas on both sides.
That's another convenience point they highlight. You generally pay the transaction fees using the native token of the chain you're starting from. So if you're sending from Bitcoin, you pay the Bitcoin fee. Sending from Polygon, you pay in Matic. You don't need to worry about having like ETH and Matic and BTC just to do one transfer.
That is helpful. Much better than shuffling funds around on a centralized exchange, depositing, waiting, trading, withdrawing. That can be a pain.
Exactly. It aims to be much more direct wallet to wallet.
So which networks does TeleSwap support right now for these rune bridges? You mentioned a few.
Yeah, the main EVM ones listed are Ethereum, Base, that's Coinbase's L2, Polygon, Arbitrum, and Optimism. Pretty much the major DeFi hubs.
Solid list.
And interestingly, they're also looking ahead. The sources mention support for newer Bitcoin layer 2s like B-squared network and BOB. So they seem keen on making runes accessible wherever Bitcoin activity happens, not just on EVM chains.
Okay, forward thinking. So now that this bridge exists, what are the actual tangible benefits people are seeing? Why bridge your dog tokens?
The number one benefit is liquidity access. Suddenly, these Rune tokens aren't just trading in the relatively smaller, newer Bitcoin ecosystem. They can tap into the deep liquidity pools and active trading environments on chains like Polygon or Ethereum.
So it's easier to buy and sell them. Find a counterparty.
Much easier. The example we keep coming back to, trading dog for stablecoins like USDT on Polygon using TeleSwap, that's huge for price discovery and just general market activity.
Makes sense.
And the article mentioned that in the first week after integration, there were already hundreds of successful dog swaps. So it's not just theoretical. People are actually using it. And this isn't just for dog, right? Other runes like PUPS or whatever comes next can leverage this same infrastructure.
Right, opening the floodgates potentially.
Yeah.
Okay, so TeleSwap seems useful, but there are other bridges out there. What makes TeleSwap stand out, specifically for runes? What are its unique selling points according to the sources?
They highlight a few key things. First is what they call Bitcoin-grade security.
Sounds impressive. What does that mean in practice?
It means they're using tech like a light client Bitcoin bridge. Basically, a way to verify Bitcoin transactions efficiently without needing the whole blockchain history. This, combined with the cryptographic slashing we talked about.
The penalty for bad validators.
Right. It means the security of the bridge is closely tied to the security of Bitcoin itself. Every swap has to be confirmed on Bitcoin before the wrapped token gets minted elsewhere. The rune jury and slashing keep the validators honest. It's not just trusting a third party, it's leveraging Bitcoin's own security model.
Okay, tying security back to Bitcoin itself is a strong point. What else?
Second, it's fully decentralized and trustless. This is a big one in crypto. It's non-custodial, meaning you always hold your keys, you control your funds. TeleSwap doesn't hold them for you.
No central honeypot to attack.
Exactly, and anyone can theoretically run a validator node, making it permissionless and decentralized. This helps prevent censorship. No single entity can easily block your transactions. The rune jury and slashing ensure things run correctly without needing to trust a central operator.
Decentralized, non-custodial. Checks the right boxes. What are the experience again?
That's the third point, seamless user experience. We touched on this, the goal of one-step swaps, handling the fee complexities, making it faster and easier than manual bridging or using centralized exchanges, just connecting your wallets and going.
Simplicity is key for adoption.
Definitely.
Here.
Fourth is the DeFi opportunities and liquidity access. Once your RIN token, like DOG, is wrapped onto Polygon or Base, it's like a native citizen there. You can trade it on DDEXs like Uniswap or QuickSwap. You can put it into liquidity pools.
Like the DOG BTC pool you mentioned on Polygon.
Exactly. Earn yield by providing liquidity. Potentially, down the line, maybe use it as collateral in lending protocols. It fully unlocks participation in the existing DeFi ecosystem for these Bitcoin assets.
So it's not just moving, it's integrating.
Precisely. And the last point is low-cost, decentralized swaps. They aim for minimal fees beyond the necessary network gas costs. And being permissionless means anyone can use it. No KYC, no signups. Great for meme coin communities, great for just regular users wanting to swap runes for stablecoins directly into their own wallets across chains.
Okay, that's a compelling set of advantages. Security, decentralization, UX, DeFi access, low cost.
So if someone listening has some runes and they're thinking, okay, I want to try this, what are the absolute basic steps? High level.
Sure. High level, you'll need two things mainly. A Bitcoin wallet that supports runes like Xverse, Unisat, Lether, etc., holding your runes, and an EVM wallet like MetaMask, set up for the chain you want to go to, say Polygon.
Got it. Bitcoin wallet, EVM wallet.
You'll also need a tiny bit of the destination chain's gas token like Matic for Polygon in your EVM wallet to pay the transaction fee on that side when you receive the wrapped tokens or bridge back.
Okay, makes sense. Then you'd go to the TeleSwap app or website. It'll guide you. Select rune, choose your source chain, Bitcoin, and destination chain, example Polygon, enter how much you want to swap.
Pretty standard swap interface stuff.
Yeah. If you're sending from Bitcoin, it will give you a specific Bitcoin address to send your runes to. If you're sending to Bitcoin, you'll interact with a smart contract on the EVM side, but the interface should handle most of that. Click swap, approve transactions in your wallets, and wait a bit.
And it's usually under 3 minutes.
That's what the source mentioned, yeah. Obviously, it depends on network congestion, but aiming for quick turnaround. And you can usually track the status in the app.
Okay, seems pretty straightforward. So wrapping this all up, the big takeaway is that TeleSwap has kind of cracked open the door for Bitcoin's rune tokens, like DOG, letting them escape the Bitcoin-only garden and run around in the wider multi-chain world.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. It unlocks multi-chain possibilities, especially DeFi integration for these native Bitcoin assets in a way that wasn't really feasible before.
And for listeners, that means potentially more liquidity, new places and ways to trade or use their runes, connecting Bitcoin assets to popular networks like Polygon, Base, Arbitrum.
Exactly. More options, more potential utility.
This really is fascinating stuff. It makes you think, if value can move this easily between blockchains that were previously quite separate, how does that change things fundamentally? Like, what new kinds of financial tools or maybe even entirely new applications could pop up just because this interoperability layer is getting stronger?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely something to chew on.
It really is.
So if you're listening, maybe check out TeleSwap, do your own research, of course, understand the risk. Crypto's crypto. But it feels like a genuinely interesting development in how these different ecosystems are starting to talk to each other.
Absolutely. The whole cross-chain space is evolving so quickly, bringing Bitcoin assets, even meme coins initially, into that multi-chain environment via bridges like TeleSwap. It feels like a significant step. It really paves the way for more innovation down the road, for sure.